Hi, welcome to Grampus Chats, where we talk about everything you want to know in Grampus. Today I'm here with Luca, who's a specialist in MRI. So Luca, what's your background?
Hi, I'm a physicist by background, so that means I'm a scientist who studied physics at the university, and then I ended up working in Nottingham doing medical imaging. So my job is usually to take pictures of people's guts.
That's fantastic. You must see some really interesting things in your day. So what is your role in Grampus?
So Grampus is a very big project where a number of people do a number of different things. And my role is to do the imaging part with some of my colleagues. So we're going to be imaging the gut of people with CF.
That sounds like a really big role. It must be very fulfilling. So what does that look like in a typical day for you?
The days are never boring. We start by making a lot of preparations. There's a lot of paperwork to do with our job. And then we have some really kind participants, volunteers, who offer their time for helping us with the research. And in a typical imaging day, we need to get them changed in some pajamas because in this way we're sure they don't have anything left in their pockets. That could be actually a problem with the imaging. And then we put them in something that's called an MRI scanner, as magnetic resonance imaging. Is a medical imaging technique that was actually invented in Nottingham by Sir Peter Mansfield. And it's absolutely painless, it's absolutely safe, it's just a little bit noisy. And so we make sure that people are happy to go in the machine, and then we explain what's going to happen. And then we take some pictures of their gut. And usually, because the gut is designed to eat, we give people a meal, and then we look inside the gut at what the meal is doing and how people are feeling when the meal is, for example, in their stomach or gone down to their bowels.
Very cool. It sounds like busy days. So you must interact with a lot of people. What is something that they ask you when they're going into the scanner?
They are usually curious. Most people are curious to see some pictures of their insides because it's something they've never seen before. And they get absolutely fascinated when we can explain on screen, oh, this is your stomach, this is where your food goes down, and this bright bit here is fluid. And it kind of is a reassuring thing to be able to see your guts and to see that they're actually kind of working. They might have some problems, but overall they are doing something.
It must be fun seeing everyone's insides and seeing them outside as well.
It's never been boring. It's never been boring. And I've been doing this for about 25 years and I still haven't got bored.
That's good. So what is something you enjoy about working in MRI specifically?
We are scientists, so we try to answer questions that nobody has answered before. So every time we set up a study, there is some little aspect of we work with the gut, as we want to know how the gut functions. So we give people meals of different types. We give people drugs. Sometimes we give people meals and drugs to see what the drug does with the meal. And we try to see how the gut works and how the symptoms, so the people sometimes eat and feel pain or bloating or they feel gassy. What's happening inside their gut that make them feel gassy? These are all the fascinating things that keep your day very interesting every time we do an experiment.
There's so much going on. It must be really rewarding when you get to see the end of a project. So I'm sure this line of work doesn't come without some challenges. What's something that you think is tough about working in this field?
What most people may not know is the huge amount of paperwork that goes with our work. We need to fill an enormous amount of pieces of papers and forms before we can actually approach a human being. And that's quite rightly so, because it's research done with the participation of patients. But that's the biggest challenge, is getting all this paperwork spick and span and that done properly. And then after that, the fun can start.
Wow, paperwork is not the challenge I expected. So, what is a common misconception people have about working with MRI or being a physicist or a scientist?
I go and talk to people in schools, to pupils, and they usually grow up in the early years with this idea that the scientist is the absolutely mad person wearing some aero goggles with something about to explode in their hands. While we are employees of a large organization, we're trying to do a good job. We feel a lot of paperwork, as I was saying before. And so science is not all about mad people trying to make things explode. We are actually trying to answer important questions. And in the case of Grampus, we're trying to understand a bit better what happens with the gut of these patients.
It's nice to be reminded of the real reason that we're all getting into this science. And finally, what is one message you'd like to give to people who are interested in your field?
Come and see us. Come and see what we're doing. Use Google. Find us on Google, on Twitter, on Instagram, and have a look at what we're doing, particularly with Grampus. And we'll be very happy to talk to anybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all of that. It's been really interesting to hear about what you do in a day. I hope anyone listening knows that we're at Grampus. We're excited to talk to everyone. We want everyone to get involved and understand what's going on. So I hope you'll join me next week for the next episode of Grampus Chats. See you next Friday.